Hello everybody and welcome back to City Skylines. It is our second episode on this series. Yesterday I put out the first one, a lot of great feedback on that. I want to say thank you very much for your support. Looks like a lot of you are interested in this game. I am certainly interested as well, and I wanted to start off by saying that this is going to be a daily series provided that we hit the same amount of likes that we did in the first video. So right now that one has 2,000 likes, so let's say we get 2,000 on this one, then I'll simply record another episode and upload it tomorrow, and that's going to be the deal. If you want daily videos, just hit that like button, and yeah, I'll continue doing them if we hit 2,000 likes. So, enough about that. I want to answer a few of your questions first of all. A lot of comments saying that this game looks like SimCity, that's a little bit of a rip-off or something like that. Well, SimCity came out and it was a horribly broken game. You know, there were lots of things about it that didn't work. It was broken on launch, and this is kind of like a spiritual successor. Now, I don't know what the developers are actually intending to do here, but it really does feel like they saw that game, they thought, you know, you're on the right track, but a lot of it was wrong, and so this is like a spiritual successor, the game that SimCity should have been, and it really is. It's so much fun. I've had a great load of fun playing this. We did a live stream yesterday and learnt some things about traffic, which we might dive into this episode. But for those of you asking, the game comes out on the 10th of March. If you want to see the price, it's probably listed on the Steam website or in the Steam store, so you'll be able to check it out over there. Now, one thing I also want to mention is that this game has tiles. I was under the impression that one of these tiles could be expanded up to 4, and there was a grid of 9 by 9, but apparently you can actually expand up to 9 tiles, and there's a grid of 24 or something like that. So what we're looking at right here is the same size as a SimCity tile, or maybe slightly bigger or smaller, except you can expand those as time goes on by buying more land. And there's one last thing to address before we dive right back into the game. That is the power lines right here. I had an experience when I first played this game where I couldn't get power into the cities, but a lot of you are telling me that you don't need to run power lines down here, you just need to bring it to the grid. So you can see the housing creates a kind of grid between itself, like a network, and that'll extend from one house to the next. So we're going to test that out. I'm going to remove some power lines. In fact, we'll do that right now and see what happens. But there are actually other things that we need to address in our city. So far, it looks like they're all still connected, which is good news. That's going to make things a lot cheaper. At the end of the last episode, we got to, was it population 600, which means we now got some new services to work with. One of those is garbage disposal, the other one is going to be healthcare. And we need a place to put these things, don't we? And I'm not really sure. So this side of town is industrial. It kind of makes sense to put all of those pollution services behind it. So we'll probably put it up here on the hill with the windmills. I called them windmills. Wind turbines, there we go. And then once we've done that, we can look at expanding the city a little bit. You can see they're already concerned. We need to get rid of our garbage. Are you going to help us with that? So let's bring a road down here. Then this hillish area is probably going to be reserved for these now that I think about it. So let's pull a road off to the side at the bottom of the hill. And then we'll make this the dump. The city dump. So we're going to build one of those right there. It's a landfill. And of course, we're one tile off from having the right amount of room. Let's pause the game. You can do construction while the game is paused, which is cool. That's something I learnt yesterday in the live stream. And I think we're going to have to delete this one right here to connect the two. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So if we drag like that, you can see it intersects this building. So if we go down, oh, and now it intersects the edge. There we go, we can just about do it. Come on, there we go. So a few extra power lines, but that's not too much of a biggie. And let's resume the game. So now we have a garbage disposal service for the city. Now that's going to cost money, part of our budget, but now the trucks are going to go around and collect garbage from the houses where it's piling up. As you can see, it says right there. Okay, so now what we want to do is expand our city a little bit. We do have to do healthcare, but we'll do that in a moment. I have made quite a big mistake here, and I thought I had actually made a bigger space between these roads and our main one right here. But as I found yesterday in the live stream, what we need to build is a roundabout at the beginning of our city to help us distribute the traffic around the place, because these crossroads are very, very slow. Now at the moment, with small amounts of traffic, we're never really going to notice. You are unhappy as well. Citizens are sick. Okay, let's actually get our healthcare system in sooner than later. We'll just put it right there for now. That'll probably be temporary. We'll remove it later on. So now we've got healthcare and garbage, and we're kind of ready to expand. But as I was saying, we don't have enough space here. Now to build a roundabout, or one at the size we did yesterday, you kind of want a 2 wide grid. So that's 1 wide, And the 2 wides, well, it's not showing us on the other side, but that's half of what we need. So you can see it goes close to both of these roads. So what we need to do is destroy this road here and the industry that's attached to it. We'll also get rid of those power lines because we'll use this over here to bring it across. And we're going to have to get rid of this entire road, these power lines, and turn this into commercial, which is not something we're going to do immediately. We're going to expand slowly, you know, let these buildings go out of use before we just move them away. So now that's no longer an industrial zone. I don't think that forces people out, although a building just did disappear, so maybe we've learnt something about that. So anyway, let's get industrial in these areas and make sure our grid goes all the way to the end. There we go. Okay, so I've seen 2 businesses now shut down. That's very interesting. We need to learn that stuff early on. And we need to expand this area over here as well, don't we? So let's add another road going further back. And again, we're following the grid formation. We're not going to do this for the entire thing, by the way. We will put in some more interesting roads. I know the grid isn't the most exciting of layouts, but when you're getting going, it really is a good idea just to follow the grid and make life simple for yourself. So at the moment that is 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to make this 6 wide, and then we'll have another road coming down. So let's go all the way to this one. If it will let us. It's not going to let us. So will you now follow that line? Yes, kind of. I'm not really sure how far that comes out, so we'll just extend the other roads here first. And I do like this grid system. It feels really well done. There's a couple of times where it feels a little bit awkward, but eventually you get used to it. So what we want to do is dezone these areas. This one's going to be commercial. However, I don't want it to be too big. Let's go... Oh, okay, that size right there can be commercial. We'll put, let's say, another one back here, just a small section of it. Something like that, and then we'll go for residential. Not in all of that area. I'll tell you what, I'll mark some of this off in a moment. Let's just get the rest of this all zoned out. Nope, that was wrong. Or was it? No, I don't think it was. And look at this. So if we unzone an area, they are going to move out, which is good to know. Not exactly what I wanted to happen at this stage in the game. You can see our population is going down, but it does make life easier, I guess, if you can give them time to move out on their own terms. So now what we're going to have over on this side is this road coming back down towards this area, because we're going to have a roundabout. I'm hoping to build that this episode. We might not have the money to do so, just because, you know, we don't really have a lot early on, I guess. So how wide is this thing? This thing is 4 wide, if I recall correctly. And I don't think I want to make it quite as big as our residential area, so what we'll do... we'll make it 5 wide then, because we don't want to put a road directly between those. So we remove those power lines and things seem to be fine, don't they? The buildings are creating their own network, so that appears to be true. Thank you for the tips there. I was reading them and thinking, hang on a minute, you know, like, you don't have access to the game yet. I do, but then I figured, hey, they've probably been watching other videos. And then even Biffa messaged me and said about it. He said, oh no, you don't need to do it quite like that. So maybe we'll be able to connect these grids closer together here. We won't need the gap in the middle. That's right, these people are going to need water. Let's make sure they get it. So we'll just connect that all the way across. And over here as well. And last of all at the top. So already our little grid layout is starting to get a little bit messy, a little bit unorganised, at least with the pipes underneath, because now they're covering an area that wasn't actually necessary. Right, let's speed up the game at this point. We can do that because things are going a little bit slow in terms of expansion. It looks like we're actually in demand for more commercial area, and I wanted to put that all the way across here, didn't I? Because this is our barrier between the industrial area over here and we'll have commercial down here. So I've evicted some more people, not sure that was too smart. And we've now turned all of this to commercial, but once that commercial demand is met, hopefully it means the residential demands will kick back in. But as of right now, things are looking a little bit quiet, and I think we've got to wait for a little more growth. So what I'm probably going to do is just steadily expand our grid, expand the city a little bit, and see, you know, how long it takes us to get to the next point. Alright, this is interesting behaviour over here. This is kind of similar to what I saw before when I didn't have power lines running through the middle of them. You can see that the power's sort of going up and down. Actually, I think I might be misinterpreting what's going on there. We don't have enough electricity. That's why it's kind of fluctuating around a little bit. So if we just put another one up the top here in this good area, There we go. Then we'll be producing more, and that should fix that problem. There we go. That was the problem. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I've been a little bit silly there. But now the population is expanding, and residential demand is on the rise, which is good. But I was just looking at the budget. Oh, and look at that. We are now a worthy village. So our next goal is going to be a tiny town. This will give us decorations, unique buildings. We'll be able to open up policies and build a high school. But the current one that we have reached allows us to unlock new areas. These are going to be very expensive though, so nothing we can do straight away. We can create districts, we can create policies, take out a second loan, industry specializations. This is something I'm still a little bit foggy on how to get going. Service policies, we can make fire department, police department, unique buildings, and then there's some industry specializations, policies, and some new buildings. That gives us a lot to do, doesn't it? And the one thing I was going to do straight away is just looking at our budget here. We're in the positive, but I feel like it could be higher. So we've got some loans we can take out if we need to do some major expansion. And we've got a good amount of infrastructure so far. What we're going to do is raise the tax here to 10%, 10% and maybe 11% for industry. And that way we'll create a bigger amount of income. And our money that we're making as we turn over will be a lot greater. So that road there can go, so can this one. Although there is still a little bit of something attached to it. Is that actually zoned? Yes, it is. That's why they haven't moved out yet. So if we dezone the entire thing, there we go. That's done. That should move out in its own time. But I'm just going to destroy the road here. So before we start building some of that new stuff that we created, I would like to expand the city. It feels like I just need to lay down some more roads, you know, some pipes, some power lines, and just get us to the next step. Alright, so a lot of rebuilding has been done. We've learnt something. It means that our grid design can be more compact, and that means more space efficient, which is not always the most important thing, but it's kind of nice to do that if you are going to work with a design that, you know, isn't really about looks. So we can see we have a power shortage, and at the moment we're running on fast because I'm trying to generate a little bit more money before we build those extra services. All of that took up a lot of money to redo. Had to redo the piping as well. You can see we are covering the zones fairly well, and we've expanded a lot of roads. What's going on down here? Building has been burnt down. Hopefully it's not the Ice Cube Factory like in the live stream. It's Garments Limited. That was another popular candidate for burning down, it seemed. But there we go. Things are alright. And over here, I can't remember if I showed this, we have the info views for going over all the different things in our city. So we can see electricity. You can see that is actually falling down again. It looks like we need another turbine, so let's add one over here. It might also drop with wind speeds. I'm not sure how that works. You know, if you have a not so windy day, maybe it drops down. But our income is pretty good here, and we should start to see some expansion. And now we're actually seeing a trash problem. That looks like a trash problem. Actually, it's a crime problem. Interesting, because in the previous playthroughs I've played, had never had a crime problem, but I always built one of these straight away. So let's put that in the middle of our, you know, residential area overall. Oh, not enough money, so we're going to have to take out a loan. Okay, that's fair enough. While we're here, let's also bump, let's say, commercial up to 11%, and maybe residential as well. We'll see how that favours. The higher these go with like problems like crime rates and stuff, though, it can be a little bit risky, so we've got to be careful. Let's take out the biggest loan, so we can spend lots of money. We'll be able to pay that off easily because we're in the plus here by quite a bit. And let's put down that police station. So crime rate is 25%. I've never really had it go much higher than 1% before, so that's interesting. As well as that, we also need a fire service, and we need to look at our districts as well. Where should we put this? Probably in the same area would be a good idea, just over there. And the plan is to have another one of these grids on this side over here. We'll make the one in the middle a higher density residential area over time. Cool. So I just signed a petition to build a school in our city. Have we not done that already? Apparently not. Okay, so another thing that helps keep the crime down is having schools. And what we'll do is build the one in the middle of this area. In fact, wherever we seem to put this doesn't look too good, does it? That doesn't look so bad. Let's just drop it in right there. There we go, so lots of people are now happy. That's good. We've probably played through a little bit too far without building these services, because they do link to one another. You know, education and police stations will keep crime down. And there were some other things I wanted to show you here. There was, wasn't there? Districts. Right, we're going to set up a district over here. This is going to be our residential one. So you can do it like this. This is like a zone that you can give a name, and you can set policies for and divide it up from other areas in your city. So this is going to be our first residential area. And let's just fill all of this in. Takes a little bit of time. There should be like a fill tool for that. There probably is. In fact, looking down here, I can see it looks like there's even bigger circles to work with. Let's do that for this one down here. We'll create a separate zone, and that is much easier to work with. So that's our industrial zone right there, and then this one is called Crescent Park. The one below is Aspen Hills. Yes, where are the hills? Anyway, if we open up this tab, and I'm not sure. Oh no, it's this one right here. Yes, you bring up city policies, and then if we click on an area, we'll bring up the policies for that area. So what we want to do in our industrial area is bring in a smoke detector distribution. So for every building we pay 5 cents, and then that puts in smoke detectors. That reduces the risk of fire. And the same thing for water and power. We can put meters in for them, and then that makes the consumption of them more efficient. But those as district policies, doesn't seem too smart. It makes more sense to have it across the entire city. So now we're paying out more money for these, but they'll pay themselves back by us not having to have as many fire services or water or power. In fact, you could probably lower the budget a little bit on those now because they're running more efficiently, but we'll leave it how it is. We're not in any money crisis, and no one's moving into these areas at the back. I've been staring at that, and it's just occurred to me that maybe I didn't actually get around to zoning those out yet, which is a little bit crazy. So we'll zone all of that right there, and it looks like we could squeeze in another road at the back, but I thought I'd leave it for now. So let's just have, let's see, do we have any shops? Oh, we've reached tiny town size. That's cool. That's the second one of these we've reached in this episode. So now we're going for Boomtown. No, sorry, we went over this a moment ago, didn't we? Yes, so we're now Tiny Town. We're aiming for Boomtown next. It means we can unlock some more areas. We'll be able to put in some transport and buses into our city, do some ore specialization, and then we can build some of these roads right here. The highway one is what we need for our roundabout. And yeah, lots of things to look forward to. We can also build some unique buildings. Never actually build one of these so far in my sort of off-camera playthroughs. Just haven't quite figured out how all of that works. So we've got our commercial area down here. I feel like maybe what we should do is just add some blocks of shops on the sides here. We'll put one right there. No, that's not a good square. And we'll put one up the back here as well. And then a small one over here. And then that should do. There's some nice commercial areas around our residential. But the demand is high and people are moving in. Let's zone out some more industrial as well for anyone who wants to come in here and get their business going. Okay, we just dropped into the negative down below. That means we need to adjust our budget. And let's actually have a look at crime. That's what I wanted to see. Did the police station make a difference? We're now down to 1%. I imagine that and education has done its job. So we are spending not a lot really, but let's lower that down to say just under 80%. Maybe the same for the fire trucks as well. We'll lower that down by like 10%, so a little less money there. How's our healthcare doing? It's not looking too bad, is it? This could probably be a little bit higher. And our death care, we don't even need that yet. That's fine. Okay. So I think we'll lower the health budget just a little bit as well, just to keep ourselves out of this negative. And can we raise taxes anywhere? If we go above 11%, I found that to be a little bit risky. So for now, we'll just try and wait and hope that the city expands. We're going to add a road over here, and we're going to connect that through the middle of this road, which looks a little bit wonky, but there you go. So now there's alternative routes to the different places. And what we're going to do one day is build a nice big roundabout here. I was hoping to do that this episode, but we kind of need to get to the next population level, and we're in the negative, which isn't good. I kind of feel like I'm missing something right here. Maybe I expanded a little bit quicker in my previous playthroughs, because as people move into the city, we're going to have more residents to pay taxes and cover the bills, etc. So yeah, let's just let time move forward and see how we do. Okay, we're approaching the balance, I guess, where we're no longer losing money each week. And I'm thinking what we should do is actually throw in some parks, make our residents more happy. These cost a bit of money, which we have. The upkeep, though, is very low. So what we're going to do is put in a small playground over here. That should affect a lot of the residents, make them feel a lot happier in the city. And then another park over on this side. There we go, and that's kind of hit most of them up, and now they're all feeling a little bit better, which should mean raising taxes is going to be less risky. So let's put this up to 12%. Hopefully that's only temporarily, as we can expand the city. And look at this, our power consumption over here. I just added another one of these, and it looks like we're going to need another one yet again. It's kind of worrying how many of those we need. It's a while before we get to the advanced wind turbine, which you actually have to place down here, but it looks like there's some strong winds in this area. When I say down here, I mean you place it on the water. And look at that! All of the sewage outflow is terrible. So how much of that are we doing? We're approaching the end of the episode here. Let's have a quick breeze over our charts. Things look good. Water availability could be better. So we're spending more money now on our services, although that tax increase did help a lot. Hopefully that's only temporarily. Let's put another one right there. Yes, you can put them next to each other. There you go. Water availability jumps right up. So that looks good. Nothing wrong there. Education could be a little bit better. We got to build some more facilities. Health looks okay as well, although that is dropping slightly, which is a concern. And the rest of this I don't think is going to make too much difference yet. And we've got a little bit of a traffic problem emerging right here. If we remove that road in the middle, the traffic flow should be a little bit smoother, and to get to the other side you've got to go around like this. But now you guess you're going to have to leave the city to come all the way back in. That's actually quite bad, because these are one-way roads if you have a look there. So if we build another one like that, will that help a little bit? Like we've got a bit of a ring road sort of roundabout system going on now. That's pretty much what we got, isn't it? That seems to have done the trick. So now the traffic's moving a little bit smoother. Yes, very nice. Okay, pollution. Loads there, as you would expect. The landfill and down the bottom here. That's fine. Noise pollution is what it is. We've got fire safety, so it looks like we need to do something about this area. Crime's not so bad anymore. In fact, it's gone all the way down to 0, which is fantastic. We're still in the negative down here. Let's just lower that all the way down there. And we hit Boomtown. Excellent. That's amazing. What does that mean we can do now? Yes, we can build the highway. So next episode we'll probably be building that roundabout. However, we really do need to expand a little bit here to get more people in the city so we can make more taxes. So what I'll probably do in between episodes is build a bigger grid over here, expand this one as well so we're ready to keep expanding our city. And look at this, residential demand is very high. So it's probably the perfect timing and we'll be able to turn around that deficit that we have. But as I said in the beginning of this video, 2,000 likes and then there'll be another episode for you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching this one. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. So as always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.